This podcast is intended for educational purposes only. Advice should be sought about your specific matter. No attorney-client relationship is formed between any client and attorney Don Dennis until there is a signed engagement agreement and payment of an initial deposit. No client-consultant agreement has been formed between any client and Inverted Chaos Incorporated until there is a signed agreement and payment of an initial deposit.
What's up, everybody? Hello and welcome to the Inverted Chaos podcast. My name is Luis Hurtado. I'm a freelance designer animator working in the tech and advertising industries. We got Don Dennis on the line. Please introduce yourself, Don.
Name is Attorney Don Dennis. I'm here with news you can use about technology and internet law. And I'm here to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about the law today.
Great. So the topic we're going to be covering today is just overall, like, what's going on when web services take down your pictures or videos online.
Okay. So have you ever had clients where this happened to?
Yeah, typically it's they put up a YouTube video and they'll get they may get their video taken down with the little YouTube terms of service removal notice. The DMCA Act is typically shown in their videos. If the video page, if they actually go to the page, they'll see a little frowny face icon that will tell the world really that their video has been taken down.
Okay. And I've had that happen also with some of my clients. And basically the reason it's a big deal is because they may have put a lot of time and effort into creating their video, trying to use it for marketing purposes or, to blow up or expand a product that they have or a new service they're launching. And they spend all this time getting the lighting right, getting the sound right, finding little clips and music to add to the video. And next thing you know, boom, it's gone.
Yeah.
So they're, upset.
Right. So branding wise, that can show people may be interested in checking out their videos or click on the video and they'll be like, oh no, like we can't show you the video because of whatever X reasons. Usually they don't even talk about which reason specifically it is. And in the back of people's mind, they'll be like, like what's going on with this company? Like they may have done something wrong and just show their business in a bad light through omission, really. Like they're not saying specifically why they took it down, So people may think of the worst.
So let me explain how this works, give you a little example. Say, for example, you go over a friend's house or you go over someone's house where you maybe not be a friend, but, you were invited to a party to come over. And every year you go over for the holidays. So you go over for Christmas, you go over for New Year's, you go over for Easter, 4th of July. And when you come in, they tell all the guests, hey, respect my house. And that's it. They don't say anything else. They just say, hey, respect my house. Mm-hmm. So you come in and you're like, okay. And then one day you're over there and you're doing what you normally do. Maybe you like to get in the pool or maybe you like to hang out around the barbecue pit. And they just say, hey, you have to leave. So you're like, well, what do you mean? And they don't go into details as to why you have to leave. They don't sit and break down whatever you did that they didn't like, but they just say, hey, you have to leave my house immediately without notice, right? No, if it was a valet parking service, your car is out front, you got to go. Or the police are out the door and they say, excuse me, sir, please come with me. And you're like, what happened? What did I do? And they don't explain it. You just have to leave because it's private property. But sometimes people forget is that whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, any of these businesses at the end of the day, they are private companies. Just like you go into a physical store and they'll have that sign up saying, we reserve the right to refuse service to someone. when you go in to, these companies and utilize their stuff, meaning you utilize their video capability on YouTube, you're posting pictures utilizing their service on Facebook, they reserve the right as to how you can use their services. And if they don't like how you're using it, they don't have to give you an explanation. They can just say, get out. And that's it. And since they're not a government agency, meaning they don't owe you a legal right to be there on their property, you can't really argue with them. And that's how that works. So first and foremost, I think now the lines have become so blurred that people get so attached and they're thinking that, hey, I've been posting videos up here on YouTube for years. I have a right to post.
Right.
Or I've been posting my pictures and telling my timeline about my family, my history on Facebook for years. I have a right to put stuff up there.
Mm-hmm.
Or even on Instagram, you have a right to post your videos and snippets, things of that nature. But technically, you are allowed to use their service, but you don't have a right to do anything you want. The same way I can't go over someone's house and I have the right to go get in their bed and take a nap.
Right.
Or go in their kitchen and start making food and eat whatever I want just because they welcome me through the door. There's certain rules. And a lot of times they call these community guidelines, community standards. It might be in the terms of use when you first set up your account, and it will say, in general, you agree to follow whatever rules that we have in place. And then they'll say, we can change the rules from time to time. Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing. You might come in someone's house and they say, respect my house and don't go in the living room right now. And then you're like, okay. And then they later turn around and say, well, don't go in the dining room. And you used to go in the dining room. And then later they say, well, you can't get in the pool today. But at the end of the day, it's their house.
Right.
And if you don't like it, you don't have to go over there.
So is that because it's like a ad supported model, like their business model is ad supported and it's basically a free service, or it wouldn't matter even if it were like a paid membership? It still has to do with them being, it's their business and their private like entity, that kind of deal.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the bottom line is their business.
Right.
So they can do whatever they want. The same way, if someone gets in your car and you're riding, you agree to give them a ride, and they're riding with you every day, mm-hmm. and then you say you can't. When one day you say you can get in and take your shoes off, and the next day you say you can't, and then they want to get in an argument with you and say, "Hey, I thought I could take my shoes off," and you're like, "Well, you don't pay the car note on this car. You don't pay insurance. You didn't put gas in it, and if you don't like it, you can get on Uber.
Right.
You can get on the bus."
Yeah.
So it's, you kind of subject to their whims and their will as to what they want to do from day to day.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, please.
So, for example, a lot of times, sometimes people get put in jail, right? I don't know if you heard of like Facebook jail, where they put you in Facebook jail and they go ahead and suspend your account.
Right.
And the whole part about being in Facebook jail, I don't even know if you can put bail up to get out.
Mm-hmm.
So they're the judge and jury. You have to serve your time immediately.
Right.
So, hold on just a second here. All right. Yeah, you have to serve your time.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. I think we were going live, and I may have got okay. All right, hopefully all people watching live can still see. So yeah, on Facebook, they could put you in Facebook jail, suspend your account. You can't use it for a certain length of time until they, decide to release you from jail on good behavior, shall we say. Then you're back at it doing what you like to do. Mm-hmm. And, that's just how it works. Now, you can say, well, I don't like this. Well, unfortunately, your alternative is not to use Facebook.
Right.
And that's just how it works. Another issue that people have, I don't know if you've heard of this, is it's called being issued a DMCA notice, mm-hmm. which stands for Digital Millennium Copyright Act notice. So these are notices, for example, let's say I go take a picture of McDonald's And I don't know if anyone saw that movie, Coming to America, and they had McDowell,
Totally.
which
I
was
love that
like the
movie.
takeoff from McDonald's, and they
Yeah.
call it, instead of the Golden Arches, they call it the Golden Arcs,
Yeah.
things of that nature. So then I take pictures of McDonald's and I put it up on my, my Facebook page,
Hmm.
and I have a company Facebook page for my business, and I sell hamburgers, and I'm saying, hey, look at all the people that love my place, and I'm using their logo, which is, I mean, their trademarked, symbol of the arches or what have you,
Hmm.
and I try to make it look like that's my business. Well, being that they have, registered that logo, that's infringement. Or if I use their saying, their name underneath to make it look like it's my business, I can get hit with a DMCA notice, which
Mm.
means that I'm violating their copyright, and they'll submit a notice to, the company. In this case, it might be Facebook or something like that,
Hmm.
and tell you to take that notice, take that page down,
Hmm.
and they will remove that post. So if it's on Facebook, they'll remove the post. If it's on YouTube, they might take down the video because I have copyrighted material. A lot of time people get in trouble because they post up movies and songs and things of that nature, and they don't have permission or a license to do it.
Right.
So if you're a musician and you see someone posting up your song or your music and they didn't pay you a licensing fee, they're not paying you any royalty fees, or you're not getting a dime, you're like, forget that. Take that down immediately because
Hmm.
you didn't pay. And not only that, not only do I want it taken down, if you've made some money off of it, they're going to sue you to get the money back
Right.
and for attorney's fees.
Right. Right.
So a lot of times people get these DMCA notices. I've had clients that have got these notices, and I've had to send out notices when people were infringing on my clients' copyrighted material.
Hmm.
So these are some of the things that can occur, and some of the things that you agree to abide by once you start utilizing these services, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or what have you.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, a lot of these things are in the fine print. And as we know, everything is not always fine in the fine print from your standpoint. And they say, the devil's in the details. So
Hmm.
either you agree to it or you don't.
Right. So luckily, YouTube has a lot of tools in place for all of this, where you can even take the profits that they've gotten from their publishing of your content, um, of their YouTube video, and then you can just take that money. So you can actually choose to leave it up, but now all the money that is being that they're accruing, it'll just go straight to you.
Really?
Yeah. There's a lot of ways to skin the cat.
Oh, that's cool. And the
Yeah.
reason
Yeah.
that's good is because otherwise, to get the money, you have to go to court.
Mm.
And to go to court, you have to bring a lawsuit. And these lawsuits can cost you up to $150,000 in attorney's fees just to get all the way through it. So if you're saying there's an alternative to
Hmm.
do that and get your money without having to pay all these attorney's fees and wait for court, because once you file a lawsuit, it's not like you're going to court the next day.
Right.
It might be over a year before you ever get before a judge. So
Yeah.
that's an excellent way to do
And
it.
it might prove to be advantageous. Let's say it's a really popular blog, and then there's a lot of people going and hitting that article with the video with that video of your content on there.
Hmm.
It could further your brand recognition, things like that. Like, just people know you a little more, and they did all the hard work of, like, getting your name out there, and then you're like, great, like, now it's like a win-win. They get to keep their content, essentially. You get the profit, and it's if you were to take that video down, then you're just like, you're kind of like also cutting yourself, you're cutting your feet off as well, because um, people wouldn't really get to notice you as much, and like that potential um, avenue is now, like, truncated.
Yeah, another thing that people have to be careful of is because, say, for example, you take someone's picture and you publish it and you're using it to blow up your Instagram channel for your business or blow up your business Facebook page.
Hmm.
And so you're getting more and more business because you put a popular picture of a celebrity up, or you put a popular picture of another business up, and everyone recognizes it. So they're increasing your revenue.
Mhm.
And you're thinking everything's great because you haven't been contacted by the company. No one asked you to take it down. What companies do sometimes, because I talked about how expensive it is to go to court, they will let you keep whatever their content is up for a while and just sit back and wait and see
Mm.
how much money you make. And if then once they feel you've made enough money, then they'll turn around and bring a lawsuit. Because if, for example, they're going to spend $100,000 on a lawsuit, it wouldn't
Mm.
make sense necessarily to sue you and spend 100,000 and then you don't have any money. You barely have $5 in your pocket.
Right.
However, if they see your business blowing up and they see you've made like 500,000 or 1 million, they may say, oh, okay, well, now it's been a good amount of time. Statute of limitations to bring a lawsuit hasn't expired. So let's go ahead and sue them and take that million or whatever you've accumulated. So what I'm saying is just because you haven't heard anything doesn't mean the coast is always clear.
Yeah,
And
right.
that you got away scot free and you should just count money at the bank and start popping bottles
Right.
because it might be a whole nother thing going on. You'd hate to be relaxing, kicking it, celebrating all the money you made and hanging out in the VIP section of the club and someone comes serve you with a lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be very careful. Just because you're not contacted immediately,
Mm-hmm.
you're using someone else's song, you're using someone else's video, you're doing things you shouldn't be doing, you still can get in trouble. But following, let's back up to what we were talking about, using these different platforms such as YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and getting these notices where they've taken down your content,
Mm-hmm.
where they say, what you're doing has violated community guidelines, community standards. Now, when they give you these kind of things, it's rather vague. They don't always go through your video, go through your post, and tell you specifically what you did wrong. The
Right.
same way I gave that example, if you go over someone's house and they tell you respect my house, and then you out, but they don't have to give you an explanation as to why. It's the same situation.
Mm-hmm.
And YouTube, for example, they're pretty vague with their community standards as to why they're putting people out. They say, the following list summarizes some of the reasons, your video has been removed because it violates our terms of service,
Mm-hmm.
our community guidelines, such as sex and nudity, hate speech, shocking and disgusting, dangerous, illegal acts, children, copyright, privacy, harassment, impersonalization, and threats. So if you're given 10 different possible reasons as to why your video has been flagged and removed from YouTube, how do you know which one?
Mm.
And good luck trying to find a phone number to call YouTube and get someone to answer the phone and give you a reason. For the most part, they only communicate via email.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? I know you're more so on the inside with the technology.
Yeah, they're notorious for just not being able to get a straight answer for why your video got taken down. I mean, that's through and through. YouTube creator after YouTube creator, they all say the same thing. So, but yeah, it's basically email contact and just a very slow, cumbersome process. There's no there's no customer service rep you can talk to and be like, what specifically did I do, and what can I do to mitigate? That's another reason, another way of trying to figure things out and not do it again in the future. It's basically you just got kicked out. So, or at least on that
Yeah, so
specific
like if
video.
somebody's having a big pool party or big house party
Mm-hmm.
and they tell you to leave and the house is full of people, how much time are they going to spend outside of the house talking to you about why you have to leave?
Right. Yeah, they're
They
not.
don't have to spend any time with you.
Yep.
They can just get out and
Totally.
call it a day.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with YouTube. So you have to be real careful about some of the content that you put up. And I think it, from a technology standpoint, and you can elaborate on this, it may be helpful or a good idea to make a backup video or a backup post in case your content does get taken down or removed.
Yeah, it'll dilute your analytics. There's your view count. There's people that when they create a podcast, let's say as an example, a video podcast, they'll upload the exact same episode to Vimeo, which doesn't have any, since you can't monetize those videos. In essence, you can't play a commercial before it plays your video. you pay a membership, per year or monthly, and they basically don't really care what they're hosting to a certain extent, on what they're so you can do it that way, and then on your blog you can just link to both, or as soon as one gets taken down, just switch it up to the next one. So yeah, there's different ways of doing that as well.
So I want to give an example of a recent case, and let me see here. This case was decided in what was the date of this? It was decided. Oh, yeah, November last year. And
Mhm.
basically, what happened is a lady posted a music video on YouTube and it got taken down, and she got upset, so she went ahead and sued YouTube. And obviously, when you go to court, you have to find some kind of law that's been violated for the court to even hear your case. You can't just say it's wrong because it's wrong,
Mhm.
or I'm not happy and therefore I'm suing somebody. You have to find it. So what she decided to sue for was defamation. Well, that lawsuit, fell all apart. And what the court said is, and she was suing YouTube saying, hey, she posted her video, you removed it, said that the video violated community guidelines, and some of the content was inappropriate or what have you. And so her feeling was, hey, you defamed me. You're making me look bad. You're subjecting me to ridicule, because defamation is saying someone says something about you, other people heard it or found out about it or read it, and it subjects me to hatred, ridicule, contempt, things of that nature. So she said, well, you know what? I'll sue for that. First of all, the lawsuit fell apart because defamation has to do with a person.
Mhm.
The
Like a
standard
personal
message
attack,
they
right?
posted, a personal attack. The standard message they posted said your video.
Right.
So it's not even directed at her on a personal basis.
Right.
Second of all, they have leeway to do what they want on their platform. So not only did she lose, but if I'm not mistaken, let me double check. She had to pay she had to pay her costs for her attorney, and she had to pay YouTube's attorney's costs for even bringing this lawsuit.
No way. That's crazy.
So again, how much sense does it make to not know the community standards on Facebook or YouTube if you plan on operating your business off of there and making money?
Hmm.
How much sense does it make to think you can put whatever you want up there and you're going to be able to keep it no matter what? You have to position yourself as a business owner to look at the benefits and the cost and the drawbacks of whatever venture you decide to get into, whatever marketing scheme, because there are rules out here that are federal and state rules, but then also whatever private company you go with, you have rules. If you go in McDonald's, if they say you can't go to the bathroom because we're cleaning, and they put a little sign up there, you can't go.
Right.
You can't sue them because they wouldn't let you go. It's just their rules. So, I think the internet has made people so relaxed. People share all their business. They
Hmm.
tell little thing they're doing, that they also feel as if almost it's they own it. This is my YouTube account.
Hmm.
This is my Facebook account. And in actuality, it's your account that they are licensing you to use. The same way, if I have a friend, I would go over their house and watch the Super Bowl, and I would always sit in the same chair. So I say, hey, if I go get up and go get something to drink or go get some food, hey, that's my chair. Well,
Hmm.
in actuality, I didn't pay for the chair. I'm just so comfortable sitting in that chair because it has an optimal position on the TV. I start, and then if somebody starts going towards my chair, I give them a funny look to
Yeah.
get away from my chair. But technically, it's not my chair.
Yeah,
And
it's
if
a
the owner
privilege,
that
right?
sat in that chair I said was my chair, what am I going to do? You know?
Yeah, it's a privilege. It's not a right, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, so one thing in the details of the case was YouTube purported that the reason that they took down her video was because she was inflating her view count. She at least that was one of the technical reasons why it wasn't necessarily a content issue. It was more that they looked at it. her analytics of her video, and she was inflating her view count by paying for robots to like go and hit that same site more times than any human could actually do. So they on a technical level, they were able to at least show that something was up, and they were able to display that like her view count was just inflating like crazy, and there was no human that could actually do that.
Why would somebody inflate their view count?
Well, it's to show that the video is more popular than it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So she's trying to make her video look real popular
Mm-hmm.
to get to gain momentum, to gain attraction.
Yeah, just to show that like she's Miss Hot Stuff, for lack of a better term. And another way to do that is you're skewing the YouTube algorithm, because if you do that, then the YouTube website will recommend your video. It'll put it at the top, at higher top of the stack, for recommended videos on your YouTube feed. Like, hey, look, this is a trending video, so you should check it out, and then that just starts to snowball even further.
So if I get, and I'm just making it plain for the viewers, if you get more people watching, you get a higher view count, you get more recognition, does that translate to more money, possibly?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it could, if your video is monetized, but then also just from a purely branding recognition point of view, more people know who you are, and then they start contacting you. This lady was a musician, so let's say she starts getting more gigs. So yeah, there's a definite monetary reason for wanting to do that. It's not ethical. I wouldn't recommend it, because it's so easy to have that be figured out. But people will do what they got to do.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so I mean, I guess to wrap up, I would just suggest that before any business decides to really launch a significant investment of money and time, because time can be more valuable than money, into YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or whatever, Twitter, whatever it might be for your business, that you have a licensed attorney work with you to make sure you're doing everything and to make sure you understand the ins and the outs. Because when you agree to set up that account, you are agreeing to a contract and a business agreement with whatever social media platform you're doing. And then also, it's very wise to talk to a technology professional such as Lewis, because there's certain things that as he just explained, that are viewed as unethical. And you don't want things to turn around and be stripped from you, them to take money back from your account because they found that you did something against their rules.
Right, because you may see the brochure, like the sales video of like, oh look, if the whole idea is to increase your view count with that little number on the bottom right of your YouTube video, then I'll just pay for it. Like, what's the big deal? But it's obviously seen as more than just frowned upon. Like, at this point, there's data analytics, and Google knows that game more than anybody else does. So they obviously will take your video down, and then it's the whole thing was all for naught. So it's best to go about things organically. If good content always rises to the top, so the best execution plan is to create good content, and people will see it.
So I just want to say, if you're a runner, there's a difference between racing someone from your house to the corner and running in the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you're in the Olympics, your reward is a gold medal. So if you want a gold medal, you have to hire a professional that can prepare you and get you in shape. And the same is true with hiring an attorney. There's a difference between hiring an attorney that can just cheer for you and an attorney that can help you get to the finish line and achieve your desired results. So if you want success on the internet, if you want to make sure your ideas are protected, if you want to make sure your brand is positioned not to take a fall, and to be well understand what's going on with respect to social media and out here on the internet, make sure you hire a licensed attorney, such as the law office of Don Dennis, that can position you, look to protect you, and defend you against attacks that you don't want to come your way. You can't forget that interacting with people online or companies online is business, just as if you're signing a contract in person. And it's business, not friendship.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to make sure you take it seriously and you protect your brand, because at the end of the day, it's your brand.
Right. And with that said, you can hire a web developer to create a website for you, or even download a WordPress theme. But you're going to want to, if you take your business seriously, you're going to want to hire a consultant that has a holistic understanding of your branding, logo design, video marketing, search engine marketing. There's this thing gets complex super fast. So you want someone who can understand all of those execution plans and create like something that with a holistic view and get you up and running, you know? So obviously that's something that a service that I provide. So definitely recommend it, getting someone that can understand all those things.
And Lewis, what are some of the companies that you work for?
Right. So previous projects include working for Apple, Hulu, Netflix, Microsoft, Amazon. A lot of the big tech companies, they actually hire me to help them out on their marketing campaigns, UX design. So I definitely have a lot of experience in all of this entire industry.
So that's important for everyone watching, everyone listening. Think about what he said. He's not helping people that are just out here, you know, on the street, any old company. He's not just consulting with people that do real nice selfies. They had a selfie stick. You know what I mean? He's not the person that they're hiring to hold the selfie up for them, to make sure the lighting's right. He's helping people that are out here doing professional multi-million-dollar projects, large corporations.
Correct.
Okay. So how do people follow up with you, Lewis, if they want to be in touch?
Right. So you can follow me on Instagram at instagram.com/invertedchaos. Twitter, same handle, which I'll put below.
Okay.
And definitely check out the website at www.invertedchaos.com. Don, how can they get a hold of you?
You can reach me on Instagram at Attorney Don Dennis, or visit the website www.dondennislaw.com. And also check out videos I have on my YouTube channel that give you more insight on internet law and social media legal issues.
Yeah, that's how I found out about this guy. So it's very informative and super helpful. I'll have all the links down in the video description below. Feel free to contact us if you have any questions.
All right, signing off.
Yep. Thanks, Don.
All right, thank you.